The most important thing when it comes to trading is not taking profit too early in terms of your entire position. I know so many people and they are just so antsy and they don't believe in selling small lots. Even if you are literally trading with $1,000, you need to understand. Let's say you buy a position, you get 10 shares in a stock, or you get 5 shares in a stock, or you get 3 shares in a stock. Well, when you reach these certain levels, let's say you're up 15%, you need to start taking profits off the table. And you don't just take profits blindly. You need to understand, looking at the chart, what levels it has previously tested to understand what levels you should probably take some money off the table so you're not round tripping. It is absolutely always hear this where they buy a stock, it rallies up 10%, 15% in the day. Nobody sells, and the next day it dumps 30%. They're like, dude, like, oh my God, if only I sold. And then you know what happens the next time it meets their entry, or the next time it even creeps above their entry? The first thing they're doing is they're dumping. And then guess what happens after that? It rallies to the moon. You need to understand, if you're taking profits gradually, let's say you buy a stock at 100, it goes up to 115. You take a little bit of profit. Let's say you have 3 shares. You sell 1 share at 115. Now, when it goes back down to 100, you're not feeling as bad. Matter of fact, you're thinking to yourself, well, I just sold it at 115. Now it's back to 100. Hey, maybe I'll buy it again. Why not? You recycle the money back into it. And now let's say you're trading on a futures market, you're actually able to buy 1.15 of the shares instead of just 1 share. But let's say you are trading absolutely normal stocks. Well, it doesn't matter, because now you not only have made profit on the trade, but you feel more comfortable knowing that you are technically in the green. So let's say the stock does go down, you have 3 shares, it goes down to 95. Now, typically you'd be like, oh my God, I'm in the red. But technically, you're not in the red because you sold a share at 115, thus netting in automatically $15 in profit. That means your 2 shares could actually go down $7.50. That means you can go down to 92.5 without even sweating, because your whole trade is still, break even, or it's still a little bit in the green, and you're able to enter back in. And that is the most important thing people don't understand, taking profits gradually. And when you're exiting a position, you also have to exit gradually, because it's just insane, the FOMO and the things that happen mentally. I personally don't really trade too much myself by hand. I kind of build scripts and I build algorithms to do these things for me, because I understand that humans and emotions, it's something that's empowering, but it can also take control of you when you are in these intense situations. So it's also important to understand, like, just have a set of rules when you're getting into a position. Just set the take profits. You don't have to exit your whole position, but having these gradual levels, 10%, 5%, 6%, 7%, depending on what the stock is. Let's say you're trading QQQ, I would tell you you're kind of insane for having a 6%. Like, you should be happy with a 2% gain. But if you're trading something like MU, well, yeah, man, let's run up and keep it up at 7%, 10%, and then, start to take profit, train. You need to kind of make it a ladder where every time you hit a certain milestone, like, let's say, and it's important to know that, round numbers are really resistance levels, or, it's just levels that a lot of people take profits at, because it's just psychological. So when you see that 1200 on MU, a lot of people cashed in, a lot of people didn't, and the next day we were back at 1050. That literally means that you could have sold 10 shares and rebought it back in for a 10% discount. So it's just important to stay mindful. Don't get too clutched on the position. And the way you kind of destroy FOMO is by gradually taking profits and gradually exiting of a position. It's okay. Sometimes you'll see stocks rally after you completed your whole ladder. Well, that's why you can keep 2 shares in, or you can keep 10% of your actual position in, just for the laws. Let's say it ran up 40% on the day. Well, keep 10% of your position in and see how it does for the next week. See how it does for the next month. If it's doing good, well, then wait for a pullback. When it pulls back, you can re-enter with the rest of your position. Yeah, sure, you might have missed a little bit of gains, but you already secured profits. And now when you re-enter, you're technically playing with the casino's money. So if you do lose a little bit, you're still up on the net trade. The whole trade, you are still in profit. When you approach trading from this kind of position, you are less antsy, less, fidgety, less worried, less stressed, less checking your phone every 2 minutes, what's going on with the stock, because you're coming from a position of power, a position of profit. And that changes everything when it comes to trading. Good luck, everybody.